There is a moment in many lives when doing the right thing stops feeling right. Not because the intention changes, but because the weight of it does. This story is about helping others, about the quiet decisions that seem small at first, about favors that feel harmless, about responsibility accepted without hesitation. It is also about the cost, not the kind you see immediately, not the kind anyone warns you about. Because sometimes, the most shocking consequences arrive long after the praise fades, long after the gratitude ends, when the only person still carrying the burden is you. This is not a story about charity or kindness in theory. This is about how helping others can slowly rewrite your life, without asking for permission. The person at the center of this story was ordinary by every measurable standard. No titles, no public recognition, no dramatic backstory. They were known for being reliable, for answering calls, for stepping in when others stepped back. Helping others was not something they advertised. It was something they did automatically. At work, within family, among friends, and even with strangers. Over time, it stopped being a decision. It became an identity. People trusted them because they never said no. They were respected because they carried what others couldn't. And slowly, without ceremony, expectations replaced appreciation. At this stage, nothing felt wrong. There was no warning sign, no moment of doubt, only a growing sense that being dependable meant being available. Always. This is where the powerful emotional story begins. Not with collapse, not with loss, but with quiet consistency. And that is why what follows matters. To understand why they kept helping, you have to understand where that instinct was formed. They were raised in an environment where contribution meant belonging, where responsibility was learned early, and stepping in was expected, not praised. Helping others was presented as a virtue, but also as a form of survival. If something needed to be done, you did it. If someone struggled, you adjusted. If the system failed, you filled the gap. Over time, this belief hardened into principle. That being useful was the same as being valuable. This is where the story becomes motivational, because the intention was never weakness. It was discipline. It was endurance. It was the belief that collective stability depended on individual sacrifice. Helping others felt necessary. It felt right. And because it felt right, it was never questioned. The cost of helping others did not arrive all at once. It arrived quietly. An hour here, a weekend there, a task accepted without discussion. Energy was spent before it could be restored. Time was redirected before it could be claimed. And silence became easier than explanation. Nothing appeared excessive on its own. Each sacrifice was reasonable. Each request made sense. But patterns began to form. Others no longer asked if help was possible. They assumed it was. Gratitude shortened. Expectations expanded. Reputation shifted as well. Not upward, outward. They were no longer seen as someone who chose to help. They were seen as someone who would. There was still no confrontation, no refusal, only pressure, increasing slowly, carried almost entirely by one person. And at this stage, the discomfort was easy to dismiss. After all, this was the price of doing good. The moment did not announce itself as a turning point. There was no argument, no raised voices. There was a situation that required intervention, a problem everyone knew could escalate if ignored. They stepped in early, offering guidance, time, and judgment meant to reduce harm. The outcome went in another direction. What followed was confusion first, then distance. Those who had been present stepped back. Those who had benefited grew quiet. And the responsibility remained, fixed in place. The explanation was simple, and that was what made it effective. They had been involved. They had advised. They had helped. The intention no longer mattered. The attempt to prevent damage was reframed as participation. This is the shocking cost many never anticipate. Help does not only provide support, it can also absorb risk. And once risk is transferred, it is rarely returned. After that moment, the pace changed. Requests continued, but without warmth. Contact became functional. Support was assumed, not discussed. Exhaustion settled in quietly. So did isolation. They began to notice how rarely anyone asked how they were, how easily their availability was measured, and how rarely their absence was questioned. This was not betrayal. There was no single person to blame. This was erosion. Helping had expanded until it occupied every margin of their life. Boundaries had been replaced by obligation, and the motivation that once felt purposeful now felt heavy. The emotional weight did not arrive as anger. It arrived as fatigue, a growing awareness that giving had continued long after there was anything left to give. And still, nothing had been said. It is here that the story changes shape. Not through confrontation, but through recognition. Patterns that once felt accidental begin to align. The same names, stepping back at the same moments. The same silence after responsibility is assigned. What becomes clear, too late, is this: helping without limits teaches others how to disappear. When support is guaranteed, presence becomes optional. When one person absorbs responsibility, many others are relieved of it. Responsibility, once accepted, begins to harden. It no longer moves. It no longer circulates. It settles. This is where the danger becomes shocking. Not because of harm done deliberately, but because of harm enabled quietly. Silence becomes the loudest threat. No objections. No resistance. Only absence. And by the time the pattern is fully visible, the structure holding it in place is already built. The realization does not arrive as regret. It arrives as clarity. Helping others was never the error. It was never generosity, empathy, or effort that caused the damage. The failure was structural. Helping without limits removes balance. Motivation without boundaries removes identity. When self-preservation is postponed indefinitely, it does not disappear. It accumulates. This is a powerful motivational story because it rejects extremes. It does not argue against kindness. It does not reject responsibility. It exposes the cost of neglecting oneself while trying to sustain everyone else. The lesson is not to stop helping. It is to help consciously, with limits, with awareness, because the true cost was never compassion. It was the quiet decision to place everyone else first. Every time. Now, step back for a moment. Look at the story not as an observer, but as someone living it. Ask yourself, who truly benefits when you disappear while helping? Is it the people you serve? Or is it the expectation that your presence is infinite, unquestioned, guaranteed? Helping can remain a strength, but only when it is chosen consciously, when it is measured with awareness, when it does not erase the person offering it. This is guidance for your life, not instruction, not a rule etched in stone, but a question you carry forward every time you consider giving more than you can safely spare. And in the silence that follows, consider this: the cost of helping others is never immediately visible. It does not appear in gratitude, in praise, or in recognition. It settles quietly, inside the life of the one who gave too much. And sometimes, the most important question is not what you have given, but what you have lost while giving. If this story resonates, and you want to explore more twists, mysteries, and lessons for your life, the journey continues here. Press subscribe and stay with us.